We're up, David Solomon, and that guy next to me who has to be on the left side of the screen, Stuart Brisgell, where we bring you unfiltered, uncensored conversations on a wide range of topics. We love, expressing our opinions, your opinions, share thoughts, experiences, ideas, and hear from a variety of different perspectives and frank and honest opinions. Join us as we dive today into the latest news, and there's plenty of it, but we also get into pop culture, politics, so much more. From rants about the absurdity of modern life, into discussions about the deeper issues that affect our society. If you haven't heard any of these episodes, go back and listen. You'll understand what we're talking about. So for now, sit back, relax, and join us on this journey of discovery and exploration as we dive into the Rant Network, where we dive into elections 2024. Yes, 5 seconds after elections 2022 end, right? Since last November, all we've been hearing is 2024 because that's this news cycle. That's what we're being pushed on. And candidates are announcing earlier and earlier and earlier. Now, we've got some candidates on the Republican side. That's not what we're going into today, but that would have been normal. Let's talk about candidates calling that they want to be part of it. And as the months proceed, we'll see other candidates. But on the Democrat side, Joe Biden held out until yesterday to make his official announcement. And yesterday, Joe Biden did what was expected, one of the worst kept secrets in Washington. He will run again with Kamala Harris because, as he said, Stuart, he didn't get the job done and he needs more time. Stuart, oi.
Bunker Biden in his true form has, the big furry animal showed his face that he's going to run. Spring's coming early. And Biden finally made his announcement. And the announcement was very unremarkable. I mean, everything was regurgitated from the first time from Bunker Biden's election run. And his hyena laughing mate alongside, because he can't have anyone that looks good next to someone that looks that bad. So she must really look really bad, because typically that's what they do with the VP. But more importantly is Biden's new message. We all know that communist China is peddling in our backyard with police stations, balloons, and dominating the air and sea in very important areas and trying to destabilize the American currency. But Biden said something not relevant to China, not relevant to Russia that's invading and murdering tens of thousands of people in the Ukraine. No, he didn't talk about Russia. He didn't talk about any of the other world narcissists like North Korea or Iran, nor did he talk about the southern border, nor did he talk about the fentanyl crisis. The only thing he talked about, which is you got to pay attention to. We've talked about CRT. We've talked about parents' rights. We've talked about our children. The word our children is I'm a parent. They're my children. They're not yours. But Biden made it a point to use language that was so reminiscent of the former Soviet Union, it blows my mind. And follow me along the bouncing ball. They've attacked religion, right? There shouldn't be any religion according to the DNC Master Charter from 2008, or maybe 2007, actually. There's to be no religion. Education is to be controlled federally. And we should teach only things that we want our kids to know, not our kids, what they want your kids to know. Sorry, to correct myself. 3, they're no longer your children. You birthed them, raised them, taught them, fed them, but they're the people's children. Guys, pay attention. It's very important to understand this language. They're the nation's children. I'm sorry. I got to draw the line. This is 100% communist talk. There's no way they can be our children unless you birthed them, raised them, and kept them. Now, science actually allows for this now. they can actually birth children in test tubes. They're called test tube babies. We have test tube Dolly. We all remember Dolly. And if you don't, you should Google test tube Dolly. It was a goat or a sheep that we genetically cloned. So Bunker Biden is out there, and he's addressed only one new concern: that the MAGA Republicans are racist, narcissists, murderers, going to steal your children, cancel your Social Security, raise your taxes, and make your life an utter living hell. Well, I don't know. It kind of sounds like the Democratic Party of 2000 and what? They locked you up. They mandated you to take a stab. They made a mandate that no immigrants that come across the border need a stab, but you, a citizen, need a stab. If you work for the government, you need a stab. If you're a government employee, you need a stab. This is all Biden came out with. Did he talk about the Russian collusion? Did he talk about his theoretical geriatric, I can't even say it, geriatric running mate, right? You know, you're going to have two geriatric people running down the street with canes and wheelchairs. I mean, we all saw Mad Money where they beat each other, or we all saw Days of Thunder where they raced down the hall in wheelchairs. You got two geriatric men running for office. This is absurd, ladies and gentlemen. It isn't absurd as necessarily Donald Trump as much as it is for geriatric Biden. Bunker Biden is going to run his campaign from a beachfront in what city? I just don't get it. How could you vote for Bunker Biden anymore? The guy's too old. 70% of the surveyed vote on a Democratic survey don't want him to run. He is a bumbling idiot. Guys, watch him speak. He's going to whisper, "There are children. I need 4 more years." It's going to make it more dramatic. You know, how about let's remind you his State of the Union with the Hitler red lights aiming up. Have you not had enough, David? Bunker Biden?
Well, you know,
where's Rupert when you need him? Because with guys like Rupert, they actually call out JFK as not being democratic enough.
All right. You're back on the Rupert bandwagon, and let's leave Rupert alone because.
Well, I reached out to him last week. I haven't spoken.
He's the prototypical Democrat who likes to see that everything is beautiful and the world is a better place when there's a Democrat in power rather than a Republican, and we'd rather see Republicans sink. We understand that, and you know, Rupert, respectfully, you know, I wouldn't go there. Joe Biden is a problem. Because there was a great caricature I just saw the other day, and you know, you see a bunch of Americans standing there and said, "Is your life better under the Biden administration?" And every single one said no, except for Premier Xi from China. It was actually kind of funny to see that. You know, Putin is like laughing. Saudi Arabia is laughing. Israel is concerned. Iran is laughing. Venezuela is laughing. We have lost our position in the global world, in the global, you know, hour. I mean, I say the United States has lost its global position as a leader, as a beacon, okay? As an economic power, it's losing its faith. I mean, look, the blame game is very, very convenient for the Biden administration. Everything that was great, you know, gas prices went down. Hey, that was thanks to Biden. Biden brought gas prices down. Really? Okay. I want to know what policy you put in place to make sure that gas prices went down, because you didn't. That's called supply and demand. But you took credit for it. Karine Jean-Pierre, his puppet in the White House, this week decided to say that it's the Republicans that want to see more fentanyl on the streets, more crime. They want to cut funding. All of these sound bites. There is zero galvanization, zero rallying cry, zero energy. It's about GOP. Oh, there's Biden calling us. There's the GOP again, blamed because of the debt ceiling. They're blamed because they want to manage the budget better. They're blamed for a slew of things. Joe Biden is an old school politician. I'll do nothing and take credit for everything and blame the other side. And you know what? People are sick and tired of this politics. we finally have a little bit of a more illuminated, and I'll use that word, voting. I mean, people are still naive. Go see Rupert, where he will not open his eyes, and there are many on both sides, whether you're Democrat or Republican, hardcore, who do not want to see the other side. I've had many conversations lately with people on both sides to try to understand the thought process. Why was Joe Biden so much better than any other Republican candidate? And most of them answered me, because he's not a Republican. That's not an answer. Your cost of living skyrocketed. Oh, let's blame China and COVID. I mean, look at everything that goes on. The Biden administration has done nothing to help Americans, nothing to help the West. The only people that right now are happy, as I listed, China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, all of America's enemies, the world's enemies. And you know what, Stuart? God help us if next year Biden wins again with that, as you said, with Kamala Harris.
We got to give him 4 more years, as he asked, because he hasn't quite finished the job.
All politicians say they need to finish the job. And you know what? I want to know what job you want to finish. Ruining the country? I don't think you need 4 more years.
David, I am literally sick to my stomach over so many of these things.
I want to ask any Democrat, hardcore Democrat, and the video of Rupert, shared with you and me was a great example of the ignorance of a voter who just doesn't want to see anything. And folks, it was just a video of somebody bitching that Donald Trump could do nothing right, and that was the typical. That's a typical bitch session that we've been hearing again and again. And I'll say this: I didn't like Obama as president, but I can't say he was completely inept. I can't say that with Biden. I can say that with Biden. Clinton wasn't totally inept. Okay, and he's a Democrat. Okay, in his 8 years in power, there were good things that were done. Okay, I can't say he was totally inept. But in Joe Biden's 2.5 years in power, can someone tell me what he did right? He blames Trump for Afghanistan. He blames Trump for everything that goes wrong. He needs to blame MAGA Republicans for everything wrong in the country. You've done nothing but nothing except for talk about your ice cream fetish and the fact that you're a freaking mafia. Nobody wants to talk about. You want to hire, the Don again as president? Man, the Democratic Party is worse off than I've ever imagined. I thought the Republicans were a mess with Donald Trump. I think the Democrats are worse off with Biden.
David, again, this is so disturbing that there are no words to describe how I feel about this. I mean, I just can't. I mean, his announcement was expected, nothing new. But, we're coming up to the quarter hour. I just want everyone to understand what the ramifications of your vote for your children, yours, no one else's. Mm-hmm. I think it starts with that simple seed. That was the only remarkable addition to his bunker Biden appeal for 4 more. David, wrap her up.
I got to tell you, if this is where the United States is going, I think everybody in the West needs to find a new ally, because God help us where this is going. All right, that's it for today, ladies and gentlemen. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and thank you for tuning in. We hope that you gained some valuable insights, and we'd like to share more about what you feel about this. So send us a message via email, on any social media, YouTube, Rumble. We're all over the place.
Yeah, we're everywhere.
We'll be back again on Friday, noon Eastern. Again Monday, next Wednesday. We're on every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, noon Eastern. So join us again for even more thought-provoking conversations. And remember, we are very close to launching our new website where you can have the entire catalog of all of our back episodes. We're looking forward to launching that hopefully next week. Thanks again for listening. Ladies and gentlemen, until next time.